How
is
am
your
I?
license plate.
This is my license plate.
That's the license plate.
License plate. I
Yeah.
love it. It's my
Straight
cat's
up, that's the
license
license plate.
Emily, there are so many words for people in our lives who help us with our careers. There's mentor, there's sponsor, there's coach. Tell me which one really you've relied on in your career.
You know what? I've used all of them. I guess the way I think about mentors, it's people that I've approached personally and gone up to them and said, you know, we've had a connection in some capacity. Maybe we've worked together or I've admired something they've done. So I think of that as sort of a mentor, someone I've gone up to.
Okay, that's formal, right? That
yes,
feels
I think
formal.
it's far more formal, but I do think an important part of it is it's not completely cold.
Okay.
Meaning you're not walking up to a random person who you've never engaged with and saying, will you be my mentor? Kind of like the book on Will You Be My Mother?
Yes.
So you're not going there.
Okay.
So that's a mentor. I think more of a sponsor as being, frankly, maybe a little bit more distant, where it might be someone much more senior to you. Maybe it's part of a board of director or what have you, who maybe quarterly you may touch base with, who's giving you sort of broad strokes sponsorship or ideas to push you forward.
Coaching, mentors, should it be limited in this time within our own gender, or should we be looking for male coaches and mentors? Can it be men, women, anybody?
I think it's actually helpful to have a diverse set. And why I say that is twofold. One is, if you look inside of your workplace, you most likely work with men and women. So if you have a mixture of coaches, mentors, what have you, who are different genders, I think you get a more holistic view on how to approach the workforce and, frankly, how to handle different pieces of feedback or engagements. So, for example, you asked on like different genders. My coach happens to be a male. And I purposely picked a male because I realized as I progressed in my career, quite candidly, a lot of times I'm around more men. And there are pieces of feedback that he has given to me that, frankly, maybe weren't as intuitive to me, that were hugely helpful. So again, I think it's helpful to have a mixture of both.
One of the things that I love is that you bring to light that people at every level use coaches. It's not something to do as just as somebody who's early in your career. You, as a chief marketing officer, are using a coach, and I think that's really incredible.
Well, thank you. I think it's one of the things that, frankly, isn't spoken about enough. Most likely you have a support system of people who are providing you with insights, information, and hopefully, if you have a strong dynamic, also challenging you to get to a better decision. I think a lot of people think the more senior you get, the more you should actually be able to make decisions on your own. And actually, when you think about it, the more senior you get, the more isolated you get. People don't challenge you as much openly. The people who challenge me at this point are the board of directors. I don't get the day-to-day peer piece as much. And that's where I think it's really helpful to go back to coaching and other things like that.
When you're looking at getting a coach, do you feel like this is something that should be on the company to help you find, or is this something that really should be up to you personally?
It's a great question. I actually think it's both. So I have to be honest, I don't know that I necessarily would have gone out and found a coach on my own, because I think sometimes coaching can be perceived differently in the workplace. I was fortunate enough early in my career at Estee Lauder, or I was working at Clinique, and I was one of the youngest vice presidents there. And my boss at the time was amazing and came to me and said, you know what? I think we should get you a coach because this is a great journey you're about to go on. Let's put you in the best foot forward. And they did something amazing. They let me actually interview 4 different people. I met different men and women, and I interviewed them not only about professionally what the coaches had done in their career, but I also wanted to know, frankly, were they working parents? Because I was a working parent. And to me, I wanted advice when someone knew I was struggling with extending an Asia trip to do whatever business objective, trying to figure out raising an infant in a healthy, positive way. I wanted someone who understood how I was approaching decisions holistically. So that was important to me. At the end of the day, I think, you know, the person who cares the most about your career is probably you. So I think it is taking ownership as well, but it's understanding you don't have to do it all your own. You can go out and bring in a coach or approach a mentor or find someone, build up that network around you.
Let's say we're looking for somebody, we're looking for some inspiration, whether it's a mentor or a coach, we're just looking for somebody to help give us guidance. Where do we start?
Look within your company and think about people, even if they're way more senior than you, who you've had some type of rapport with. And what I mean by that, this isn't necessarily the person you're having lunch with every day.
Okay.
But this could be someone you've been in 1 or 2 meetings with, maybe you've spoken with here and there. And what you go up to them and say is, you know, I really appreciated how you negotiated this deal or proposal in this meeting we were in. I also really appreciated when you were asked this hard question, how you followed up, you know, with character and what have you. I'm at this point in my career, I was wondering if once in a while, for like a 15-minute coffee, my treat, I could bounce 1 or 2 questions off with you, and then I'll follow up and tell you how the outcome was. Is that something you'd be open to? So I think it's all about going to somebody who you have some type of rapport with, not cold.
Yep.
I think the other one is tell them what you're seeking. Like, I am seeking to do X. And then the most important part is follow up. Even if it's, I tried your advice, this is what happened, it worked. Or, you know what, I tried your advice, it didn't quite work how I wanted. Can we talk about this next time? Can you point me, maybe it's my delivery. Can you help me on delivery of this? But follow up, because then that person is more invested and they want to help you win.
I also love how when you asked them the first time, you told them what it was about them that actually inspired you. It's specific, because lots of times you can feel like somebody just will go up and say, okay, you're in this position, let me ask you, maybe you'd be a great mentor for me.
Exactly.
And I think it's much better to be specific.
It's making it personal.
Yes.
So then they're invested and they're like, okay, if you like how I negotiate, that's something I can do. And
it's something I can help you with.
It's intuitive and this isn't extra work. This is something that I love to do and I'd love to share.
Yes. Well, Emily, I hope somebody is listening to this today and hears your story and picks up the phone and calls a coach, because it is on you. And I think that people might not think of it. And I'm so grateful that Estee had brought you that opportunity.
So am I.
And then it turned into this whole thing where even now today you're using a coach. So it's really wonderful.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Of course.